Hello everyone, I hope you guys are having a great day today. Today's video is going to go through all the products that I think are worth the splurge versus products that I think you can save some money on. If you're new here, hi, my name is Vivian. I'm a robotics engineer with a love for all things beauty and makeup related, and if you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe if you aren't already. With that being said, let's just hop into it. I'm going to go through all the products that I think are worth the splurge first, and then I'll go through all the products that I think you can save some money on. This is going to be like by category. I know there are a couple of products from each category that I have drugstore versions of that I love, but in general, these are the vibes I have for these makeup categories. The first thing I want to mention is mascara. One thing to note, I have super stubborn, straight, won't hold a curl lashes, and when I do wear mascara, because the skin around my lashes is super oily, mascara tends to smudge on me no matter what I do. So for me, I usually have to use a tubing mascara or a K-Beauty mascara. K-Beauty does tend to be a little bit more inexpensive, however it's a little bit harder to get your hands on. So whenever I make a K-Beauty order on like YesStyle or something, the whole thing still ends up being quite expensive, or like the whole order ends up being quite expensive, but per piece it ends up being around like $10–11 per mascara tube. Tubing mascaras, however, there aren't a ton of options at the drugstore. I've tried a couple. So tubing mascaras tend to be a little bit higher end, a little bit harder to get your hands on. The two that I think are my favorites are the Thrive Cosmetics Liquid Lash Extensions, and then also the Bubble and Rudy Chocolate Dripped Tubing Mascara. Out of those two tubing mascaras, I think I like the Rudy Berry one a little bit more. I feel like this does a better job of holding a curl than the Thrive Cosmetics one, and this one gives a really pretty fluttery lash look. However, more expensive, harder to get your hands on. You can only purchase this through Bubble's website, and I think they do like limited drops whenever they release it, so it can sell out. K-Beauty mascaras are super hard to remove as well. For me, I have like a K-Beauty specific mascara remover because it's very well known that K-Beauty mascaras are harder to remove, but basically my lashes are super straight, stubborn, they smudge so easily, and they don't hold a curl very well. So sometimes I even have to go in with like both. Like I either have to go in with a mascara base, like a K-Beauty mascara base, and something else on top of it. For me, it's just not worth the hassle. I'd rather go in with just one mascara, and tubing mascaras tend to be where it's at. So for me, like I said, the chocolate drip tubing mascara from Bubble and Rudy is like one of my all-time favorites. More expensive, but worth the splurge because I don't want raccoon eyes. I want my lashes to look lifted, and I don't want to have to re-curl my lashes after already putting mascara on because I don't want to like rip out my lashes. Mascaras are something that I will probably always splurge on, and that's just the way that it is. That's what it has to be for my lashes, my lash type. Another thing that I think is worth the splurge are foundations. There are some good drugstore options for foundations. I know that. I'm completely aware. However, drugstore foundations don't typically have a great shade range. Drugstore foundations don't typically have olive undertones. Sometimes they can look really nice sitting on the skin, but there's always something about them that just doesn't look right on me because the undertones just don't match. I do have two favorite foundations here that one is a little bit more inexpensive and then one is like super expensive, but these both match me so well. The ones that I have here are the About Face, the Performer foundation, and I have mine in the shade LM2 Olive, and then I also have the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk foundation in the shade 6, which is deeper than me right now, but in the summer this works really well. The About Face one I believe is around $22. The full size of the Giorgio Armani I believe is like $69. So wide price range difference there. However, they just match me so well, and these are both beautiful. Again, I have oily skin, so sometimes finding a drugstore foundation that doesn't make me feel super greasy and match me super well is really hard to find. And so for me, I'm almost always going to be picking up a more expensive foundation just so I can have that like perfect shade match. I think that if you're not an olive undertone, you could probably find some really great drugstore foundations. I have a couple of drugstore skin tints, like lighter coverage foundations that match okay, but because they're so sheer, it doesn't really matter as much. I don't think I could ever go in with like a more intense drugstore foundation, like a higher coverage drugstore foundation, because of what I said about the shade ranges. And lastly, I think there is a huge difference between drugstore lip balms and high-end lip balms. I'm specifically talking about the higher end, like Summer Fridays lip butter balms, the Ole Henriksen lip peptide treatments, and lip products similar to that. I personally have 2 lip balms here, one from Ole Henriksen and one from e.l.f. I hate the e.l.f. one. My lips are perpetually dry. I have to reapply lip balm all the time, and I just don't think the e.l.f. one does anything for my lips. I don't think it hydrates whatsoever. The feeling of it is also not as thick, not as like plush, and for me, that's just not my preference. So for me, I will always love my Ole Henriksen and Summer Fridays lip butter balms. I think they're some of the best formulas out there, and I just don't think the drugstore compares when it comes to lip balms and lip treatments, just because I need so much more when it comes to lip balms. I am also like a lip biter. Like I will rip all of the skin off of my lips, and I feel like my lips always feel way more dry and cracked when I use drugstore lip balms, things like that. I will say the exception to this is if I need something super hydrating and I go in with like Aquaphor or something like that. However, when we're talking about like tinted lip balms, I definitely prefer the higher end ones. They just do a better job of hydrating my lips and making them very soft and pretty. So those are all the products that I think a person can splurge on. Something that I myself will splurge on. However, there are a lot of things from the drugstore that I think are amazing that I don't think you need to splurge on. I think you can save the money, and we're just gonna talk about them. The first thing I want to say is primers. With me, my makeup routine, I don't typically go in with primers. I have been in the last couple of months because I've been actively trying to pan some of my primers, but for the most part, I think that my morning skincare routine does a great job of priming my skin for makeup. Even then, my morning skincare routine is very minimal. I will pretty much just like wash my face with water and spray on a little of the Tower 28 SOS spray, maybe a lightweight moisturizer if I feel like my skin needs it. But again, because my skin is so oily, I find that primers can make my skin feel too heavy, especially if I'm putting more like foundation concealer on top of it. So primers, I don't really use. I think the best primer is just like my skincare. However, if I am going in with a primer, I don't really need anything super fancy, super expensive. e.l.f. has some great dupes of the high-end primers that are super popular. So for me, primers is just something that I will save on. I probably won't purchase anytime soon. Yeah, I'm just not a big primer person in general. Another category that I think you can save money on are brow products. Specifically, NYX has some great brow products and a great shade range of the brow products. So right here in my hands, I have the NYX Lift and Snatch Brow Tint Pen, a great brow pen, super affordable, and does the best job of just like filling in any hair-like strokes that I want. And then I also have the e.l.f. Brow Laminating Gel, which is kind of a dupe for the Refi Brow Sculpt. There are definitely a couple of products that I love from high-end brands. Like my Kosas Tinted Air Brow is one of my favorite brow products out there. I love the Refi Brow Sculpt, but again, NYX and like e.l.f. and the drugstore in general have so many great dupes that I just think you can save money if you want to. Again, they have a great shade range. I always think that NYX does a great job with brow products. The brow pen is like one of my favorite products. It is so easy to use. It's so easy to draw like hair-like strokes with it, and it's so affordable. So I love my NYX brow products. The brow pencil is also really good. Their brow gels can be really good too. I love the e.l.f. brow laminating gel as well. A really good dupe for the refined brow sculpt. So if you want to save money on your brows, I do feel like the drugstore is the way to go. Another category that I think you can save money on are lip oils, and I'm talking about the like Dior Glow lip oil type products. So I have a couple of here that are high end that I like. However, I think the drugstore has done such a good job of duping these that I don't think the high-end products are worth it anymore. Specifically the Dior lip oil, this is $40 and it feels the exact same as the e.l.f. Glow Reviver lip oil. The shades are very similar. They're both super sheer. They feel about the same on the lips. They both have a really pretty glossy finish. They're a little bit sticky and a little bit plumping, but they look identical on the lips. At this point, I don't think that you need to buy the high-end ones. Like, I know I have a lot of the high-end ones, but I'm currently making my way through them. I have one in my project pan pretty much every chance I get. I love the e.l.f. Glow Reviver lip oils. Milani has some great tinted ones as well. The Milani Fruit Fetishes are really, really good. And yeah, I think if you want this type of product, the drugstore does it so much better now. And the last product I think that you can save money on are lip liners. So NYX and e.l.f. make great lip liners for super affordable prices. The e.l.f. lip liners, these like wooden pencil ones, are $2. The NYX ones are $5. And I swatched a bunch of the lip liners on my hand, and I feel like you really can't go wrong with them. Now, I'm mostly talking about the wooden pencils for lip liners. I feel like a lot of these formulas are super similar. They're not as creamy as like any of the other like twist up pencils or anything like that. They're a little bit more stiff, but I feel like they perform about the same. So I went and swatched some of my wooden pencil liners for you guys. So going from left to right, it's the Tower 28 one-liner or multi-liner in the shade Work of Art. The next one is the e.l.f. $2 lip pencil. I'm not entirely sure the shade. It doesn't say on the packaging anywhere. Then there's NYX lip pencil in the shade Soft Brown, NYX lip pencil in the shade Nude Truffle, and then the Victoria Beckham lip definer in the shade O2. So out of these, I feel like you can tell the formula is very similar. If I take my finger and just go like that, they all blend out about the same way. The higher end ones are a little bit less creamy. However, they look identical on the lips. Every time I wear these, I will just smudge a little bit and take my finger and blend it out that way. From my lip liner collection, I feel like if I were to repurchase them, I would just repurchase the NYX ones because they're really good and really affordable, and they have so many shades. The NYX lip liner line is insane. There's all the neutrals you want. There's a little bit of the fun bright colors as well. I personally just feel like it's not worth it to buy like a super high-end lip liner unless you want something that is not going to move at all. Me personally, I like a little bit more of a blurred out look with my lip liner, so the wooden ones work great for that. In my opinion, I would just go with the drugstore ones personally. And that is everything. That is everything that I would rather save or splurge on. I know that this is kind of niche towards my personal preference. I think everyone will have a different opinion of what is worth saving versus what is worth splurging on. That is my opinion. I would love to know yours. If you want to share, leave a comment down below. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe if you aren't already. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.